Hey everyone, we're coming at you live from Westfield State University, and we have a very special guest today straight from the communications department to tell you some of what he does in the field, studio, and beyond. I'd like to welcome Alex Simisky to the studio. So, what is it like working on campus after having graduated from Westfield State?
It's definitely interesting, especially being in the same department that I graduated from. Technically, I don't work for the communications department, but for every purpose, I'm up here every day. Some of the faces have changed, but a lot of them are the same, so it's kind of interesting moving from a student to someone that works here. But, even overall, the campus itself is so different from the 3 or 4 years ago when I first got here from when I graduated. Back in my day, you used to have to walk all the way across campus to go to Dunkin' Donuts, but now it's right here every day. The investments that they've put in between, University Hall and the new Science Center and the Dower Center, it's always changing, it's always different, so that's kind of what makes it fun and, different every day that you come in.
Awesome. Now, how did you go about finding work with the school after having graduated?
Yeah, well, it's kind of an interesting story. So when I graduated, my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, got a full scholarship to go to graduate school in Bangor, Maine, which I don't know if you know this, but Maine isn't exactly a bastion for technical anything video production, so it was difficult, especially when, I had no contacts, I had nothing. But a lot of the stuff that I learned here, and particularly the show that we produce as Schools Match Wits, it stands out on a resume because you could say, look, I worked on a real show, I'm going to be able to come in and do anything that you need me to be able to. So, but like anything else, there's a lot of sending out resumes, not hearing anything back. So the first job I got was doing technical support for Electronic Arts. They had a little satellite operation out there. So it was good. I was able to stay in the field. The job was miserable. Pay was horrible, but it was something. And then I worked at a CBS station for a couple of years, and that was okay. And then I worked at a few other places and came out here. But, that's kind of the story, is to get your start, you have to grind for it, If you want to be an on-air talent, sometimes the only on-air jobs are in Omaha or they're in wherever, you know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily come out of school and anchor the 6 p.m. Sports Center, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what, I don't know, makes you angry at the world. You got to go out and work for it,
Understandable.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been working with the school itself?
3.5 to 4 years. Yeah, somewhere right. It's right around 4 years, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what's it like working on the set of as School Match Wits?
It's fun. It's it's the ability to work on a real TV show, but you also have a lot of flexibility and freedom for what the show should look like. And there's so many different schools that come in. There's like 46 schools, 48 schools, or something like that. And I think the best part about it is, and it was when I was a student too, is that the students are the crew, basically. That's, I think, the real reason that we do it and why it's important is that, like I alluded to before, it got me a job out of school, and it's gotten other people jobs out of school too, is that, even if you go to a place like in Maine, there was a big communications school in Bangor, but they didn't produce any real content. When I could say, you know what, I did 2 seasons of a show and I did audio and I, was a PA for it. And they said, you know what, that's pretty good. We'll bring you aboard. So, it's important and it's a fun show to do.
That's awesome. So, do you have any other pursuits aside from working with Westfield?
Pursuits? Sure. I like music. Videography and photography is a hobby, I guess. It's important to stay on top of how different the field is all the time. So I kind of view that as my hobby too.
What advice would you give to aspiring comm majors that are seeking a job in video production?
Do any job that you can, even if you think it's beneath you, if it might not be relevant to, if you want to be a documentary producer, but you can only get an internship in news, it's all helpful, and it's all important to get your foot in the door, because you think of how many people are here, multiply that by how many universities are out there, and there's a lot of competition in this industry. So.
Right, well, that's all the time. That concludes our interview. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you, viewers, for supporting us, and we'll see you next time.